Why a human's broken leg made an entire alien army retreat. The alien soldiers surged forward, a tidal wave of armored bodies glittering under the blood-red sky. Their war cries were guttural, carried on the shriek of plasma weapons and the pounding of heavy boots against the ruined earth. Humanity's defensive lines had already crumbled. The last city fortress was about to fall. And yet, in the chaos, one human knelt alone. Corporal Elias Wren, barely 24, clutched his rifle with trembling hands. Smoke and ash burned his lungs. His squad had been scattered, his commanding officer vaporized by a direct plasma strike. Worse, his leg was broken, snapped when an alien shockwave had thrown him against a wall. The bone jutted sharply beneath his blood-soaked pants. He should have been crawling away, waiting to die, or begging for mercy. That's what the Zerath expected. To them, humans were fragile prey.
Soft. Weak.
They'd studied us like one studies insects before stepping on them. But Elias refused. He couldn't. The alien line advanced, towering insectoid forms with jagged exoskeletons, eyes like pools of black oil, and weapons bristling with cruel blades. They had conquered world after world with precision and brutality. Humanity was supposed to be next. One of them pointed at him, alone, broken-legged human refusing to retreat. The Zerath laughed, their mandibles clattering in mockery. Elias gritted his teeth and planted his rifle in the ground like a crutch. "Come on then," he hissed through the pain. "I'm not moving." The aliens expected fear. Instead, they got defiance. He raised his rifle and fired. The recoil almost tore it from his weakened grip, but his shot struck true, splintering the armor of a Zerath warrior. The insectoid screeched, staggering back. Elias chambered another round, each movement agony as his leg burned like fire. The front ranks hesitated. It was unthinkable. One wounded human alone, broken, was fighting back. The Zerath's entire doctrine was built on intimidation. Break the enemy's spirit, and the war was won. But Elias's spirit refused to break. Behind the alien horde, commanders clicked nervously. This was not in their calculations. The humans were supposed to collapse under fear. Yet this soldier, pinned in the dirt with his shattered limb, was radiating something they had underestimated. Something infectious. Unseen by Elias, the battle was being broadcast. His helmet cam, still active, transmitted live across military networks. Civilians hiding in shelters saw him standing his ground. Soldiers retreating in disarray suddenly froze at the sight. "A single man wounded, still fighting?" one whispered. "Against them?" another breathed. And something inside humanity's battered forces shifted. Elias pulled the trigger again, downing another alien. His shots weren't just bullets, they were defiance, stubbornness made flesh. Around the ruined city, scattered squads rallied. The sight of him told them what speeches and orders never could. If he could fight with a broken leg, what excuse did they have? The Zerath line faltered. The hesitation spread like cracks in glass. They prided themselves on being predators, but predators relied on certainty. Their entire invasion had been built on the idea that humans would collapse like paper under pressure. But here was a human who refused even with death crawling toward him. Worse, other humans were rising again, inspired by his stand. Across the battlefield, broken defensive lines were formed. Small units pressed forward, shouting battle cries. Weapons thundered where moments ago silence and retreat had dominated. The alien commander screeched orders, furious. "Advance! Crush him!" A squad of 6 Zerath rushed Elias, their scythe-like limbs flashing. Elias roared back, slamming another magazine into his rifle. He fired wildly, dropping 2 before the others swarmed. They pinned him, claws digging into his armor. One raised its blade for the killing blow. But Elias didn't scream. He spat blood into its face and growled, "Humanity doesn't kneel." The soldiers watching from afar felt their spines stiffen. Those words, caught by his still-lived comms, echoed across the comm network like a battle hymn. At that moment, artillery shells rained down from the ridges. Human reinforcements, drawn by his beacon, tore into the alien ranks. The Zerath holding Elias reeled under the explosions. Fellow soldiers rushed forward, dragging him from the melee. He was barely conscious, his face pale from blood loss. But even then, as his rescuers lifted him onto a stretcher, he clenched their sleeves and croaked, "Don't stop, fight until they run." And they did. The humans roared as though possessed, rallying around the symbol Elias had become. They fought with ferocity the aliens had never calculated. Grenades, bullets, bayonets, they surged like a tide reborn. The Zerath, for the first time in the war, retreated. Not from superior numbers, not from advanced weapons, but from fear. Fear of the unknown. If a single broken-legged human could inspire an entire species to rise, what else were humans capable of? In the aftermath, Elias awoke in a field hospital. His leg was gone now, amputated to save his life. He blinked groggily, expecting silence, maybe pity. Instead, he heard cheering outside. "Elias! Elias!" voices chanted. A nurse smiled at him. "You don't know what you did, do you?" "What happened?" he rasped. "You made them run," she said softly. "The Zerath. The whole army. They were winning until you refused to fall. You showed us what it means to be human." Elias stared in disbelief. He had just wanted to keep fighting until the end. Yet somehow, his stubbornness had turned into a weapon more powerful than any rifle. Years later, historians would write about this stand of the broken leg. Children would learn his name in schools. Monuments would be built where he had knelt in the rubble. But Elias never thought himself a hero. He always shook his head when asked about it. "I didn't make them retreat," he would say. "We did. I just happened to be the fool too stubborn to give up first." And perhaps that was humanity's true strength, the foolishness to stand, even broken, against the impossible. A foolishness the Zerath had no defense against. And that was why a human's broken leg made an entire alien army retreat.